Well, good Friday morning, church. Welcome to the Word for you today. We're excited about a two-parter this time. And certainly for me, this one isn't nearly as off the wall as the one I dealt with last week, but it's certainly one that I'm passionate about. So anxious to share it with you today and looking forward to part two tomorrow. And so our topic today is radical commitment. And we're going to be looking at that, like I said, today and tomorrow. And our verse as we begin today is from Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. And it says that I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. All right? It's not me living, it's Christ living in me. And hopefully that's where we are as believers and followers of Christ. We've got Christ living in us, and hopefully that is showing in our lives. But as we take a look at that verse and then jump into radical commitment, let's dive right into today's devotion. It starts off, many people today want to get as much as they can for themselves while giving as little as possible in return. They want to be there for their friends in all of the good times, but absent in the not so good ones. Sadly, national statistics confirm this lack of commitment. The marriage rate is falling, while the divorce rate is up. Involvement in ministry and in a lot of worthy causes that help the needy are falling. Why? Because people don't want to put themselves on the line or be pinned down by any kind of responsibility. We often view opportunities to serve others as obligations, and therefore we avoid them. That is so sad. We're a soundbite generation with a short attention span, accustomed to 15-second advertisements and fast food. We want our sermons simple, entertaining, and feel good. Yes, radical commitment is rare, but it's what God requires of us. Commitment means that our promises are binding, whether it's convenient or not. And so for today and tomorrow, we're going to look at a few examples of commitments. Okay. First of all, today's one that we're going to look at is our commitment to marriage. Right? Marriage, as God sees it, is not a 50-50 arrangement. It's more of a 100-100 thing. It's a mutual agreement to give 100% of ourselves to another person. And it's a lifetime covenant between you and your spouse, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, until parted by death. Now, that covenant is a lot easier to live up to when both partners have learned, like Paul, to say, I have been crucified with Christ and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. That means dying to self-interest is the key to great relationships. And so I want to encourage you today. You know, I know a lot of us go through life and we have things happen, and on this idea of the radical commitment of marriage, you know, there's a lot of folks out there whose marriages didn't make it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And we're not here to heap condemnation. What we're saying is, as we begin today, today's a new day. Let's make a new start. As we live out our commitment to Christ, one of the things that I see in Scripture is to let your yes be yes and your no, no. One of the most important lessons I ever learned from my father was the importance of honoring our commitments. When we give our word to something, follow through with it. And so whatever's in the past is done. We can't change the past. But we can step forward from this day forward, making sure that we keep our promises, that we are people of our word. And when we allow our selfishness to be removed so that Christ can live in us, it becomes so much more easy. No, I'm not even sure easy is the right word, but it's become so much more possible to make those commitments stick. So, Jesus calls us to a radical commitment, and let today be the first day that you step forward in that. And if you're already moving that direction, keep going. All right? God's got big things for us as we continue to follow Him. We've been talking with our youth a lot about the radical things that Jesus taught, and that following Jesus is hard. Right? It's not an easy thing, and it's so easy in our society today to just want to give up. But stay with it, because God's got a great reward for you as we get to the end. All right, so church, have a wonderful Friday. Love you guys. We look forward to worshiping with you on Saturday. And I'm not sure who's got Saturday's part of this devotion, who's going to be doing this tomorrow morning. But somebody's going to be following up with this, and they're going to be looking at some other commitments in our lives. So I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the word for you today. Have a blessed day, church.